Now comes the core part of the application where we are going to store the task. Before to these videos, I have created two more series for CRUD. In first, I have used these states to pass the data, and in second video, I have used Redux to keep the states. So in this application, to do application, we are going to use context API to store the data. Context API means use context hook. We need to move this data to the parent component, and we have parent component as home. From home only we are calling the task. So if we move this data to home, then we can easily access this data at any component. So let's jump to the home.tsx. Here we are going to use context hooks. So let's look how it works. So to use context, first we need to create context. Okay, like this. Create context in a variable, and we need to wrap our whole application inside that provider, and we need to pass the values, whatever the child components we have or the relative components we have, that can use task directly. Here if you see, I'm calling task list component here, and from task list I'm calling task, and inside task component I'm taking the task. So how we use, we write use context, and there we need to provide the context name, to do context, same reference we have to use. That's how we can take the task and we can use that. Let's write. I'm going to create here create context. Okay, from imported from React. Import from React only. Okay, because if you see, we have one more import that is from VM, so don't do that mistake. And I can take this in a to do context. Okay, so here we need to pass some default value. I'm passing empty object, and we need to wrap our whole application inside the to do context. We can wrap whole application, or we can wrap a specific part of components also. It's not a problem. So for now, I can wrap the other part apart from stack. So here write to do context dot provider. Okay, let's cut it and write inside a stack. And here I need to pass the values. Okay, so in value I can pass anything like task. Here I can pass some data. So I am passing a object having task as a key and empty data. So what I can do is I can take the task list from task list component. I am copying it and pasting it here. Okay, and let's copy this task to this place. So I can rename it like active task. Okay, fine. So it is asking for, it doesn't have I task. I can copy I task interface inside types.ts file. Okay, here, and we need to export it. Fine. And in, let me save it. Inside home.tsx file, I can import iTask now. Okay, now it's okay. So we are done with the first step, that is we wrap uh, our components inside the to do context provider, and there we pass the tasks also with the key active task. Now we need to use, or we need to get this data. So how we need to do, we will need this to do context in task list. So I am moving it uh, be, uh, outside the component, and I can export it so other component can use it. Okay, fine. Now inside task list I can write like use context, and inside that to do context from the home component. Okay, and here we can get the data active task. So I'm destructuring it, and now I can remove this task default and this interface as also, and I can directly use active task at this place. Okay, what it is saying, property active task does not exist on type empty. Okay, so it is saying like active task is not present inside the to do context. Let's jump to the home.tsx, and here we have written the create context. So there we need to say like what can be its type. So here we can have active task, which is of type I task array. Okay, and active task I need to pass here also with empty data. Okay, so this is the type I am mentioning here, and this is the data for it. Let's save it and check in the task list now. Okay, that error gone. Now it is saying for iTask that we need to import control dot, and it is imported. Okay, let's format it. I think we have done with that part. So all the tasks will be shown from the to do context now, from the home component. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's add one more task at this place at id 3 task 3, and it's is favorite 2. Let's save it and check. See, whatever we add in the home.tsx in create context, that is read by the task list component now. Okay, so if you come till now, I think you have achieved very good knowledge or hands on React. Now, after this, it is going to be difficult. Let's focus on the application. So we have now the text also, task also. That's great. What I will do, what I can do is I can move this provider inside a new component. It can have the separate component. Let me do that quickly. I'm creating to do provider.tsx, and inside it I am using rsc command and tab as I'm using code snippet. We need from home.tsx, first we need this context to move from here to do provider. Okay, that I move here. Let's import the create context from React. Let's import iTask from type file. Then again, if we go to the home.tsx, we need to copy the data as well. Let's delete it from here, paste it inside to do provider. Okay, now we need to wrap inside provider. So let me copy this and paste it here, and here I need to use to do context dot provider. Okay, fine. And here we can create one type of props which will have the children of react node. Okay, react node, and we can have the props as a parameter which is of type props. Okay, and I can use this here, props dot children. Something. Okay, we need to write here equals to, instead of type we can use the interface as well. That's not a problem. Let's use to do provider now. Inside instead of this I will use to do provider directly. Let's import it. Okay, import it, and here also we need to use to do provider. Okay, this file is okay now. Error is in task list file now. Okay, so we need to remove it, delete it, and import to do context from to do provider. That's all. Okay, so from home.tsx we have moved the to do provider in separate component. Okay, so that's fine now. Now let's jump to the task form and create here a form, and after that we will implement the some details, like if we click on the favorite icon it will be non-favorite, on delete it will get deleted, and on check it will be marked as completed. That we will do later. First jump to the form. Inside task form tab, let's create a folder here, not inside list, inside to do, that is task form. Create task form tsx file, rsc code snippet for functional component. Let's write here some dummy text. This is task form, and import it. Let me first close all these tabs and import it inside the home or pivot in the second pivot. This is first, this is for task form, so I will remove this label and will use task form. Okay, let me import by control dot. Fine, so it will show on the UI. Okay, this is task form. If we go to our application which we are following, we need now a text box for task title and for description and then button. For that, again we need to go inside Fluent UI, search for text. Okay, so we have text field here, and we can use this text box, standard one. Click on the show code. So this way we can use text field. Okay, let me copy it here. Instead of div I will use stack. Okay, let's import it, and I have pasted the text field. Let's import text field from Fluent UI React. This is a required one, required, and title will be, label will be title or task, anything. Second is for description, that is multi-line. So let's look for multi-line example. Okay, this one is a multi-line. Show code. So for multi-line we need to use multi-line and rows, how much rows we need. Okay, let's jump to code. Let me copy this. Instead of title I will use description. It is not required, but it is multi-line. And rows I need to use 4 rows. Okay, let's save it and check. Okay, fine. Text box are showing here, title and description. Now we need to add button. For button I can create one more stack and add button here. Let's jump for button again. Button, So the primary button I can use this one, primary button. Okay, let's remove this checked, disabled, on click, everything, and import primary button from React. And text should be add task. Let's check now. Okay, it is taking all space, but if you know, in our application here on 3006, if I add the task and click on the add task, we have this message bar. Okay, for that we need space. Let's look for message bar. Okay, message bar. So if we come down, we have this. If you click on show all, so we have this much message bar. So I need only success message bar. If I click on the show code, I will see here we need to import the message bar and its type. Okay, so let's use this. So I can use here message bar. Let's import, and I can add here message like task added, and type is message bar type, message bar type, message bar type is success. Okay, let's check it. Message bar is showing, and again add task. As we know, stack by default shows the content in vertical, so we need to add horizontal here. Horizontal. Okay, horizontal. So it is showing in horizontal, but we need some space for message bar and some for button. That we can do in by wrapping inside multiple stack. One stack for message bar and one more stack for button. Okay, let's format the code, format document, and here I can pass style. Okay, and here I need width as 80%, and for button width as 20%. Okay, so now I need to add some margin top to parent stack. So here I can add style margin top. We need to provide just number, so 20. Okay, it is taken the number 20. Now the second thing is the message bar and button are attached to each other. So here we have one more field, that is token, and inside token we have property like children gap. So it will, whatever gap we provide, that will be applied between these elements. So let's check. Yeah, so it has taken the space now, so it is looking good. So for this thing, if you ask me how I get to know, I have read 20Y stack code already. That's why I know. If you even follow some examples, you will get to know, like here they have used the tokens, and container token is something like object of having children gap. I have read the document, then only I get to know. It's time to have states for the title and description. So let's create states const title, and function to set that title, set title. and I'm using here use state, import it from React, and default value we need to provide, that is empty. And I'm copying same for description, and the function will be set description. Okay, and I can use this title here as value. Okay, and for description I am going to pass value as description. So this is, now whenever user type inside the title, that we need to update the this title state. Okay, so I am going to create a const function uh, on title change. Okay, and I can use this function here on change equals to on title change. So if you go to if you look for on change definition, it is giving us event, first parameter as event, second as new value. I will take the event here. You can check the new value what it comes. Okay, so I am taking event, fine, and inside event we have current, target, and value. Okay, so you can check this by logging, and in log you will get to know where you have current value. Okay, inside target or current target. When we use HTML elements, that time we have value inside target, but as we are using here UI component library, we need to use as per that. Okay, so here in this event dot current target dot value, I will get new value that I need to set inside title state. For that I will use set title function. Okay, fine, and same for description I need to do. I'm copying it, and on title change here I will replace on description change, and instead of set title I will use set description. Here I need to use on change and function as on description change. Let's format it. Okay, now check. So whatever I am typing, you can check the states also. So let's inspect it, and inside component tab you will see component tab when you install the React Developer Tool Chrome extension. So you can look for React Developer Tool Chrome. Okay, this one you need to install it, this extension. Okay, then only you will able to see the this tab inside component. Okay, so let's inspect it. Okay, we need task form. Okay, so task form having two states. One is uh, title and second is description. Let's update some description. So here let me type here description. So whenever I type here, it is getting updated in the state. This is called the control component. Why? Because the input elements are depends on the controlled by the states. So for your reference you can check control components and uncontrolled components. Okay, and you can implement this form as a uncontrolled components as well. You can try by yourself. But if you see here, we are following very tedious way where we are creating a state, then its function, and in future if we need one more text field, we will need to create one more state and one more function. So we need to look in a better approach. How we can do? We can create a custom uh, custom hook. We can create. Let me create custom hook. I'm naming it use input dot ts. Okay, custom hook always start with use. Name it use input. Here I will have initial value that that is of type string, and I can export the use input. Export default use input. Okay. To perform this, what we need? We need one state and one function. Okay, only two things. So let's create a state, use state, and initialize with initial value. I'm taking the value in as a value, and function as set value. Okay, this is I have done. Now we need on change event. Okay, so in on change we will get events like this. Okay, so I can copy this. I will get all the things in event, and I can set the value from event. So event dot current value dot value. Okay, and I can return object here having value and function as on change. So if you don't know what I am doing, or if you are confused here, okay, I will recommend you to watch my video that I fully dedicated created for custom hooks. You will get much more clear idea about it, so I recommended you to watch that. You can find the link in the description. Let's use it now. How we can use it? We need to use input hook. So instead of use state, we need use input. We are passing initial value as empty. This I will take inside title. Okay, title variable. So if you check hover on the title, you will see inside title we have value and on change, that two properties. Okay, same I will use for description. Instead of use state, I will use input, and I will take this inside the description. Okay, I don't need these two functions now, and here we can directly pass value and on change events by object destructuring. Okay, like this, and here I will use description. Okay, so title having value and on change function, both we are passing to the text field component. So whenever we type anything, this on change function will get invoked, which will set the states. Okay, so new states will get written by this hook. Okay, so whenever we get new value, that will get inside title. Okay, and re-rendering will happen and new value will be shown on this part. Okay, so that's fine. If you watch my that video for custom hook, you will get to know in this hook I have skipped the one major performance related thing, so that you can fix by watching that video. use state for now. I can remove it. Now we can focus at the task inside the task provider here inside this. Okay, so how we can do that? Inside task form, let me change this stack to form. Okay, and here I will add on submit method on form submit. I am creating this function const on form submit. This function will have event which is of type react dot form event. Okay, and we can first do prevent default, so it will not refresh the page. We can pass here type as submit. Okay, so whenever user click on this button, this submit button, submit function, form submit function will get called. On the basis of that, we can show this message bar. So let's create one state, use state that is false with a false value, and let's import the user state. Okay, show message, set show message. Okay, or we can do one thing. Instead of boolean property, we can pass here, we can have here two things, type which is of message bar type. Inside use state we can have type which is of type iMessage bar, and message which is of type string. Okay, and by default type is success, and the message is empty. Message is empty. Okay, let's format it. We can write here whenever show message dot message is having data, then only we will show this message bar. So for now it's empty, it will not be shown, but on form submit I can call set show message function, set show message, and here I need to pass the object having type as message bar type dot success, and message as task added. Okay, then only it will be show. Let's check. So first the message bar is hidden. I'm typing something here and clicking on add task, so it is shown. Now we need to show this for only 1 minute, or sorry, only for 1 second. How we can do? We can create one use effect hook here, use effect. Okay, so use effect having two properties, two values, two parameters actually. First is a callback function, second is a dependency. So here we can pass the dependency. So whenever show message dot message is changed, the function will get execute. Callback function inside use effect will get execute. So I am checking if show message dot message is true, means it have some data, then only I need to execute this code. So what I can write here, I can use set timeout. Okay, set timeout, first parameter is called function, second parameter is the time, so I am writing 1 second. Okay, So after 1 second, what I need to do, I need to call this set show message. Okay, and here inside that, just for now, I can pass the type as success and message as empty. Okay, so after 1 second, a message will be set as empty. You can do this in such a way that you can keep a boolean property, and on the basis of that you can do. Let's try add task. So task is showing, and then it is hidden or removed from the DOM after 1 second. That's fine. Now after clicking on add task, I need to show the task inside task list. How we can do? Okay, so here we have to do provider, and we are passing some data, so we can keep this task as a states. And as this is a like a array of object, and we will have multiple properties like active task, then completed task. For that reason, I will use reducer. Let's look for the use reducer in React. Jump to the beta.reactjs.org site. Here you will get to know how we can use. We need to create one function that is having state and action method. State is nothing but data for that component. Okay, and action is object where we have type, like is it add action or delete action or update action. And inside component we need to use in this way, like inside use reducer we need to pass the function reducer function, this one, and the default data. Okay, so this default data is set in the state, and dispatch is a function that triggers the reducer function. Okay, so this is how it works. Let's create. I'm going to create here const reducer. I know I can understand whoever is using it first time, it may look difficult, but hold on guys, after some minute you will be familiar with this concept, so don't get disturbed with this, keep patience. So first is state and second is action. As we are using TypeScript, so for now I'm writing it any. We can change it later, that's not a problem. And just for simplicity, I will return the state in this way. Okay, and here I need to use reducer. First parameter is reducer function, so let's write reducer. Okay, so this reducer means this function which we created, and here we need to pass the default data. So I can pass tasks. Okay, this one task, and here we need to take this as state. So whatever default data I pass, that will be in a state, or whenever we call the reducer function, whatever data we will return, that will get updated inside this state. Okay, so second is a dispatch. I'm naming it dispatch. So this function, whenever we call this function, reducer will get called. Okay, now we have state. This state we can directly pass to the active task. So I will do one thing. I will create some data, and inside that I will create active task prop, active task, and there I will pass the task, and this data I will pass as a default data to use reducer. Okay, now I can use. So if you check in the state, okay, so state now have the state dot active task, this active task, and to update call this reducer function, we need to pass the dispatch also, so that we can add inside the values. So let me add it here, dispatch. Okay, dispatch. It is showing error because we have type, okay, interface. There we need to mention the dispatch. So instead of this, let me create interface, name it I to do context, okay, and interface, okay, and there I can have the active task, and I can use now I to do context here at this place. Okay, let me move it to the type file and export this and use import it in provider. Okay, fine. So still we have the issue dispatch, so we need to add dispatch inside the I to do context. So dispatch, let's check its type. Okay, so how we can see, if you hover on this, so you will get to know we have this react.dispatch of any type. So let's paste it here, import the dispatch from react. After some time we will replace this any, okay, that we are pending. In reducer, first parameter is state. We can create one more interface for it. Let's create interface I reducer state, or instead of that I will write I to do state, because this is what the heart of our application. It's a state of our application. Okay, that's why. So here I will have active tasks. This is of I task array. Okay, this I can use as state here. Okay, fine, and I can move this inside the type file. Let's write here export, and let's import it here, import. Okay, so now dispatch, again dispatch is of type any. Okay, it is showing some error. Okay, actually we added here dispatch inside I to do context, but not mentioned here. So we need to add dispatch, which is of function. It will not return anything. So instead of void, we need to add curly braces. Now we are passing the active task and dispatch. So we will need dispatch inside task form. So how we can take that? We can write use context. Okay, import it from React, and here we need to provide to do context, and to do context have all that values. So we will just take the dispatch. Okay, so here we need to call this dispatch function from on form submit. So inside dispatch we need to pass the action data. So we can create a structure like we can pass type as add and data, some data. Okay, let's create some data. So data can have title, which is of title dot value. So this title holds the value in, okay, and we can pass the description also, description dot value. We can pass this data to the dispatch. Okay, so once we call this dispatch, it will come inside this reducer. So if you write the console.log and type here state, and again console.log and type here action. Let's check it. This is, we are here inside task form. Let's open the console. Okay, inside console, let's clear it. Let me add task 1 description 1. Okay, and click on the add task. So here you will see the first one is a state and second one is a type. So it is showing 2 times because we need to remove React.strict mode from development for now. Let's check it now. Jump to the task form. Right here task 1 description 1. Click on the add task. Okay, so first is the state. So you can see we have active task in the state, which have 3 tasks, and second is the dispatch function that we trigger. There we pass type as add and data also. Okay, so on the basis of this type we can add this data inside active task. Okay, so this is simple in this way. Let me clear all these things. So now we have control inside reducer. Let's write the switch case. Inside switch case, I am going to switch according to the action dot type. Okay, and if it is a add, if it is a add case, then I will, okay, so we have, I will return a new updated state. So how I can do is state destructure, and I have to add active tasks only. Okay, and active task is nothing but the array. I will add new task on the top of the existing task. So how I can do is action dot data and then remaining tasks. So triple dot state dot active tasks. Okay, so this is how we can add the things. You should know what is this and what I return. This is a part of JavaScript. Now I will take this data first. Let's take it const data action. As you know, inside data we haven't passed the id, so data dot id I will add. I can create a new id in any way, so I am creating to JSON. It will use date in a JSON format. Okay, fine. One more thing we have missed, that is this data should be of type iTask. Why? Because okay, iTask. Let's import from the types, because this data is going to get added inside the active task, and active task is nothing but the, okay, let me, so active task is nothing but the array of iTask. Okay, so we need to take care that whatever data we are passing, that should be of type iTask. Okay, and for now it is showing error for description because we haven't added description property inside iTask. Let's add that. So where is iTask? Here. So here I can add description, which is of type string, and it is not mandatory. That's why I am adding here question mark. It is not mandatory. Okay, so that is fine. Now we need to add is favorite. By default For newly created task, I'm setting as false, and we need to pass the ID also. For now I am adding passing empty. Okay, from here, and inside to do provider I'm creating a new ID, and data is having all the other properties. Let's save it and save it types of, and now check. Let me close. I'm adding task 100, description 100, and let's click on the add task added, jump to the task. Okay, so task 100 is added. Add one more task 101, add task added, jump to the task 101. Okay, this is how we can add the task. If you understand till now, you have achieved almost, I can say, 80% of the knowledge. So what we need to do in future, we just need to add the cases like delete, update, favorite, and according to that we just need to update the state. All that is a JavaScript knowledge, so that will work in that way. Before going forward, I need to do some code modification here. I will not use add in this way. I will create an enum for that. So export enum I to do reducer action type, or just write action reducer action type. Okay, so inside that we can use add, and in future, in upcoming development, we will need delete as well. So let's use this now. Instead of add, I will be using this enum. Oh sorry, we need to rename it as action type enum. Action type enum. Let's import it here and remove this as we don't have now. And at this place we will need add. Okay, fine. And inside task form also, here we need to use in that way. So similar way, I'm copying it, pasting it here. Let's import. You may know it doesn't show the error. Okay, it should show the error. Why? Because we need to mention the action. Now its type, we need to remove the any, and we need to mention its type. So how we can do? Inside types I can create interface, export interface, add action. Okay, so this can have type as action type enum dot add, and here I will have data which is of type I task. Okay, and this interface I need to use in to do provider inside for this action. Okay, so let's use in this way. So in future, sorry, in upcoming development, whenever we need like a favorite action or update action or delete action, we will need to create such interfaces. Now we can focus on favorite, or let's focus on the delete, so you will easily get good understanding on the use reducer and whatever we are doing here at this place. Okay, let's jump to the task list now. Okay, for delete task we need to first jump to the task list. So here we have this delete button, delete icon. So on click of this, on click, we need to call on task delete. Let's create this function here itself, const on task delete. Okay, and to delete the task I will need id, which is of type string. So for all the activity like add, delete, like for add we call dispatch, same for delete also we will going to call dispatch. Okay, and we need to take dispatch from use context. Okay, so we can take here dispatch, and we can create a, like here we can pass the type which of type we have a enum for that, correct? We have this enum action type enum, action type enum that let's import it. And for this is a delete action. Okay, and we need to pass data. So inside data I can pass the id. We can structure this in any way. If you wanted to pass id directly in data, you can go with that also. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so what is this? Okay, on click of it we need to pass the id to it, and we have id in task dot id. This is what, from where we can take the id. Let's save it and jump to the to do provider. Here we will have action. We need to write one more case, that is delete. Here from action dot data dot id we will get the task id to delete. But as you see, action we have only of type add action. Now we are going to create one more action, that is delete. So let's create interface for that. Export interface I delete action. Okay, and here we have a type of action type enum dot delete, and data which we are asking, which is of type data, and id which is of string. Okay, so interface, fine. Now we have two interfaces for same, for one action. So how we can do that? We can create a type I action or I reducer action. Okay, which is of type either add action or delete action, and we need to export it. Now we can use iReducer action directly at this place. Okay, at this place. Let's import it. So how we delete? If you know, we delete like first take active task from state, active task. We need to take a clone, do the deep clone of it, because we don't mutate the actual state. Second terminology you need to know is what is mutable, what is immutable, and why we don't mutate these states. What is this exact sentence? So how we do deep clone is first JSON dot parse, and then JSON dot stringify, and inside that we pass the data. Okay, so this is how we do the deep clone. Now we need to get the filtered data from active task dot filter task. So active task is nothing but I task array. Okay, so here task dot id should not equals to action dot data dot id. Okay, so except this id which is deleted, we will take all the data, and we need to return the updated state. So first state is of type object, so I'm returning state, and I have updated the active task. Okay, so active task equals to filter data. Okay, so this, in this way we can delete the task. Let's save it and save the types also and check whether it is deleting or not. So I'm deleting this one 101. Okay, that is deleted. I'm deleting task 1. Okay, that is also deleted. We need to add the alert or confirm box now. So in task list we need to write here condition windows or window dot confirm, and here we will need one string delete confirm. Are you sure you want to delete the task? Question mark. Save with this, and here I can use that string. We have not imported, so we need to import to do string from string.json. Okay, and here to do string dot delete confirm. So if this is confirm, then only we will dispatch the delete action. Let's check it again. Okay, it is showing the confirm box. If I click on OK, so it will delete. If I click on cancel, it will not delete. Okay, so I hope you are getting some understanding why I did in this way, what is the state now, what is the actions. With the help of context and a reducer, we are trying to create a functionality, something related to Redux. Let's refactor some of the code in the reducer method, that is for add task and delete task. So I can create separate methods for that. Add task action. Okay, and here I can pass the state, or I can take this directly, or instead of state I can take active task. Okay, keep it state for now, and return this one active task. So let's copy this one in add task action. So what I'm doing, I'm moving this to other action method. Okay, same I will do for delete as well, and for upcoming actions as well. Okay, so here we can return this thing, return action dot data, which is a new task and active task. Okay, let's write it here and pass the state and action. Okay, and remove this. Now same we can do for delete as well. Delete task action. Okay, and okay, actually one thing here, for add action we know a specific interface. Okay, we have created here in types file I add action. So we can use the specific one. Okay, and same we will do for delete task action as well. Let me copy it, paste it here. Instead of I add action, I will use I delete action. And I will copy this at this place. Okay, and okay, we have done filtering as well, and I just need to return the filter data. Okay, return filter data. I'm removing this one. Instead of filter data, I need to call delete task action, and I have to pass state and action. Okay, so we can do one thing. We can move this utility method that we create to clone the object. Okay, so for that we can create one utility file. We can name it utility.ts. Inside that we can write one method, export const clone. Okay, and here we need to get the data which is of any type. It can be array, object, any type. So we need to mention it like in this way. Okay, sorry, t, and the data will be of type t. So user can specify the type, uh, whether that is object or array, and we need to do like json dot parse. Inside that json dot stringify, and here comes the data. This we need to return. Let me format it and save it. Okay, now instead of this json.parse and json.stringify, I can use the clone. This clone is imported from utility. Okay, fine, and I have written the filter data as well. Now we can move on the next implementation, that is favorite.